And after one of the most heartbreaking and kind of very unsuspecting, the storyline crept up on us, made us all feel too many emotions. And Lola Pearce Brown has finally passed away in her battle with cancer and had a very fitting entire episode dedicated to her and a Julius theme to truly send her off. Part of me was slightly worried that she wasn't going to get the Julius theme, but I'm very happy that they gave it to her. Piggy, how are you feeling after watching that episode?
It's we didn't cry for people who watched the live stream because I already watched it and all as that I was preparing for it, because how I do it, I would watch the death and then watch the episode, because in Ireland, for people who don't know, I know I'm ranting, but for people who don't know, in Ireland we can't get the episodes early. We have to watch them when they're live.
Yeah.
Or you watch them after they've aired at like 9 or 10 o'clock on the RTE player. And basically, since England, unless it's a major episode, which I think this should have been classified as a major episode.
Yeah.
This episode should have not went out early, because a lot of people posted Lola's death online. Like somewhere, fuck you Ballum fans, because some Ballum fans posted it as Ballum, Lola dies. Ben wasn't in this episode. You're making it about Ben and fucking, I nearly said Ben and Jay. Ben and
Callum.
Callum. Like, you're making this about Ballum. He's not in this episode.
Yeah, exactly. And that it is pretty devastating to now know that Ben will not have seen Lola before she died. The last time he'd seen her, he was too caught up in trying to save her that he just didn't actually get his chance to say goodbye. Which is pretty rough and will definitely play a big part in... I'm not saying Ben's immediately gonna blame Callum, like, why the fuck didn't you tell me she was dying? But it feels like he will definitely be like, why the fuck did you not say she was dying, man? The episode was a pretty... it was interesting how they shot it. Obviously we were live streaming it, so I wasn't entirely comfortable, always part of my brain where I wasn't fully relaxed, so I don't think the episode hit me as much as I thought it would have. But I'll go back and watch it again at some other point, and hopefully I will just sob like a little baby. It's okay to cry, by the way. It's perfectly fine. And yeah, there was a big theme about the clocks and just time just kind of running out on Lola. They shot it in a way where they shot it in a nice way where the bulk of the episode was just full darkness. And it did make it look a bit strange. Did think the PC monitor was a little too dark, but regardless. But by the end, there's this big beam of light hailing down on Lola as she passes. Was Jay for the 2 minutes that Jay had stepped out, cuddling Lexi. And yeah, holy shit.
And now it's a tiny bit of a spoiler, but for people, because I'm going to bring this back to Life is Strange in a second. But for people who don't know, Jay says in the episode, Lola, I know what animal you'll be when you pass on. You'll be a fox. Which I love, because there's something I love about the Life is Strange game. They've heavily focused on spirit animals.
Yeah.
In the first game, it's heavily implied that there's a doe in the game with Rachel, who gets killed. A cat. It's basically the doe guiding Chloe and Max to find her body. So I kind of like that, where they had Lola die and then a fox appears. They say she's reincarnated as a fox, which I felt was pretty nice. Some people might. People go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I did enjoy the fox thing, but I also probably I would have liked for it to have been a thing a lot more often, because I think this is probably the first time that that kind of spiel has come out about Lola being a little fox, you know. Maybe if it was a bit more like drawn out. Like,
yeah, they mentioned it a few
if
times.
yeah, like if they'd realized this was how they were gonna symbol it. But I probably would have. I don't know. I suppose not to go too hard on the episode, but I feel like in a way to do it, like they try to do it a lot more different, and I guess you couldn't exactly have Lola having like tearful goodbyes with everyone at that point, because obviously she was just sleeping. She just couldn't respond. But I was kind of expecting a bit more of like the really upset pleas, like Billy just in tears. I know it happened in previous episodes, but I was kind of expecting it to all be in this one, where, you know, Billy's in tears. Maybe he's doing like a fucking pinky promise, like, hey, I'll make sure to do this, you know. Like I've always been here. We've always kept our promise. I'm sure that'll come. I'm sure this kind of stuff will come tomorrow. But I don't know. But I guess it's not really the time to be nitpicky. This storyline was an absolute sleeper of a storyline, and they've done a fantastic job at truly giving Danielle Harold, like truly allowing her to show off how capable she is as an actress, and also finally giving fucking Jay the time to once again like prove his chops. And, you know, like, he is probably one of the better characters still on the square, but often gets painted with a boring brush because he doesn't really do much, and he's a bit like fucking he's a bit like he's like a plain bit of toast. It's just kind of I would have liked to. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe it's just the fact that I just didn't get hit by it immediately. That's probably a me issue. But I think so far, all I've seen of the response online is that everybody has fully, everybody's fully, like, sent it. Most of the EastEnders fans are in fucking tears right now. It was a really beautifully done episode.
Yeah. I was going to say that probably some Catholics and Christians watching it might be offended because they don't really believe in reincarnation.
True.
That's more of a different religion. And some people might nitpick it by saying EastEnders is pushing its reincarnation on us. And you're like, no, that's not the message. The message is that the Holy Spirit is now in a fox. She's still in heaven.
Well, it's also, it's not even just that. It's the fact of, like, Lola's spirit will live on in the square. Like, just because Lola's gone, like, a lot of people really did some amazing comparisons. Like, you know, the whole square's dark because Lola's suffering, but the second she's allowed, like, peace and she's dead, the light is back because she's no longer in pain. Had some really nice, like, some really nicely shot. And EastEnders usually, I mean, it's a soap. It's made about at least 200 times a year. Like, you can't be doing all these fancy shots for every single episode. So, yeah, I just, it's really heartfelt and good. It's a really good tribute. But maybe now's not the time to say it. But
go ahead.
My main issue. Oh god, this is gonna get me shit for saying this.
Go ahead, it'll be fine.
Everybody everybody loves Lola now. But what the fuck does she do, like, the rest of the time? She's had about 4 stories, other than this one, where she had, oh, I'm back. I want to get back with Jay. Ah, Jay doesn't want to get back with me. Oh, I'm back with Jay. Ah, I'm pregnant. I'm going to get rid of it. Sleeps with Peter. And then it breaks up with Jay for a bit. And then, oh, I'm back with Jay again. And it's the kind of... I can appreciate the episode, and I will say the storyline's been tremendous, but as a character on the show, I'm not surprised she got axed.
Yeah. If this was a perfect world, I wouldn't have axed her, in my opinion. I would get rid of the basically how Piggy would buck. And basically what I would do is I would basically get rid of the cancer storyline. She doesn't get cancer, but she rekindles her love with her mum. Basically, you have that entire storyline of her mum, and then to write her, Jay, and Lexi out, or just Lola and Lexi, basically have Jay go, right, so do you want to go to America with your mom, live with her, or do you want to stay and raise your family here? And then Lola would go, well, I want to rekindle myself with my mom. I haven't seen her, Jay.
Yeah, like
in 24 years.
let's spend this time. I wouldn't have even minded if let's say old Emma had cancer and she like is trying to meet Lola in a dying breath and like, I'm so sorry I've missed all these years. They spend a bunch of time away and then come back. I do think they're gonna shoot themselves a bit in the foot by killing off Lola eventually, because like we said, she was still a Mitchell character. Like, Soap always has a problem with killing off characters way too fucking early.
My biggest gripe, and it's not with Lola, sorry to interrupt you, because this is just on my mind. My biggest gripe is Lola is currently a second generation Mitchell. She's not born and bred into the Mitchells, or is she?
No, not really.
Because that would be very weird, because Ben's a Mitchell, so that would be incest. But my problem is she is a second generation Mitchell, or whatever way she's related to the Mitchells. My problem lies in the fact that you killed her off, right? Whereas if you just let Danielle leave, like, just make some bullshit excuse. She had to go to America to see her mother. Her mother emails her, she has to go to America. She brings Lexi, because obviously the childhood actor's like, fuck it, you pay me double, I'm leaving, grand. The childhood actor doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, and if she does, you can easily replace her when she's 18 if she wants to come back to rekindle her love with her stepdad and her dad. But basically, you could have written her off that she just goes to America, or like Grant, she goes to Spain.
Yeah.
Because you killed her off too early. There is storylines you could tell. You could tell storylines that, like, she wants to meet her mom, which they already did, but she wants to go find her mom in America. She wants to go find her mom's husband, because let's say that Emma gets married again, so she goes to find the husband. Like, you killed her off too early, is my problem.
Yeah,
she's only like 28 on the show.
Exactly. And I think it kind of comes into another issue that I'll also go to, is that they just, like, imagine Lola and Jay stick together for all these years, you know? Imagine, like, Jay's in his fucking 50s, Lola's in her, like, 50s. They've been together for, like, 30 years. And they've kept, like, an iconic couple, you know? Like, they have aged. But, like, I don't even think Lola's gonna be, like, Jay's main love interest, like, over the course of his, like, long stint on the square. Like, Jay will have multiple huge, like, loves. And I think Lola's not even gonna, like, scratch the surface by the time it's all done. Obviously, we can't gauge this at all, because, you know, it's fucking... time to age about fucking 40 years, you know? Like, we can't really gauge it, but it's kind of... It would have been more interesting if they just let Lola leave rather than killing her off. And maybe once a new character... maybe once they like get some different writers in or some different executive producers, and maybe then they can actually redo the character. But by killing her off, it just leaves the options a bit too bleak for my liking.
See, that's going to happen in like 10 years' time.
Yeah.
They're going to have a script and it's going to be like, Danielle Hardlett, we've got a script for you to return. I died of cancer. Yeah, but... and... So, like, how would you even explain that if you were to bring her back from the dead? I didn't have cancer at all.
I mean, she's never coming back.
She might come back like Roxy or Ronnie.
Yeah, at least they have Lexi. I'll say that much. Like, at least Lola will still be alive in the square with Jay and Lexi. They're both there.
Sorry.
Yeah, but not. I mean, we spent half of this like ranting, half of this like glorifying it. It was a good episode, and we did appreciate it for sure. I know that it can be easy to get all weighted in the negativity. We're just saying these things could have been nicer had they have done it that way, but well, they haven't. So now they have to deal with the fact that Lola's dead, and it kind of leaves everybody else alone. I just think it was a really beautiful episode.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all we really have to add to this. Nothing particularly bespoke or like fucking unique perspectives. We had a good time.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is, because I was just thinking about it, if they decided, all right, we'll let you leave, I've literally thought of the scene that could have been given to Jay, because I know the actor would probably want to stay on the show. Do you remember when Peggy wrote a letter to Phil?
Yeah.
Saying like, oh, sorry I did this, blah blah blah. Basically, how I have it is that you just have Lola write Jay a letter. Look, I had to leave for reasons, and he sat in the square, and that's your Julius theme of the year. He's just sat there in tears that the woman he loved has left him.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm not an EastEnders writer. The best thing to do is kill her off, which will bite you in the ass in about 5 years. When you realise, whoops, Lexi should have a mother, shouldn't she? And then you're like, yeah, well that's your fault, isn't it? I know I'm negative, but you don't have many new characters. I know people are going to say Lola's not a new character, but
I mean, Lola was an example of them not knowing how to do like young characters. Yeah. Because beyond being Lexi's mum, like that was all she did. That was all she had. She had the one storyline where she cheated on Jay with Peter. That was it. That was all she had. She reacts to Ben being Ben. She reacts to Jay like being fucking 70 years old but looking like 28. You know, like it's just everybody's gonna say she was a phenomenal character, an amazing actress, and she was, but I just think people will look back on the character and realise that there was a lot of wasted potential with it.
Sorry if you heard a toot there. That was Lola's spirit coming out of my ears.
But yeah, that's my kind of sad take from this. I think people will look back on Lola's character and realise that there was so much wasted potential.
Mm-hmm.
Because
there still is.
She came back in what, like 2018? 19, maybe even probably. 2019. She came back in 2019. She she had a relationship with Peter, had a relationship with Jay, became a hairdresser, had an abortion, and had cancer. And this is all within 4 years of being on the show. Like, mate, fucking... Ben will say, hold my fucking beer, you know? Like... Oh, you've only had 4 storylines in 4 years. Huh, ain't that fucking cute? Like, fuck's sake. It is wasted potential. That's my biggest gripe.
I do love the inclusion of Julia's theme. If while I give this story for ending the episode now, I would want Julia's theme, my voice to be lowered, and Julia's theme of pictures of Lola or Daniel Harlett be played, if that's fine with you, Ash.
Yes,
Just while I
yes.
give this story, as you play Julia's theme. I'm going to basically explain why this death is like my nanny's. So hopefully Julia's theme is playing by now, and hopefully Ash didn't forget in post, or else I'm just talking out of my ass. But basically, the reason why this hit so hard with me is because you never know when the final moments of your loved one is. Yes, you can on a soap because, well, you're dying the 3rd of May. Wait, what? Yeah, you're dying the 3rd of May. Grand. We'll film it on the 22nd of March. But in real life, you don't know when the last time you're going to spend time with your loved one. I didn't know my nanny was going to die at 8. My nanny died at 8 p.m. on a Thursday. Now I've been told the best thing to do when someone dies in a bed or dies in a room is to open the window to let the spirit out. I think this episode is a great example of why it's great for soaps to not kill off characters, but show how people react, because that's the best thing. Because let's be honest, someone like Lexi in real life would want to paint their mother's nails, and someone like Jay in real life would be like, Jesus Christ, this kid's driving me up the wall, and that's life. When my nanny was in the hospital bed and she couldn't really eat, my dad looked at me silly because my nanny was born in the 1930s, so I obviously got a spoon, and here comes the Luftwaffe, because the Luftwaffe is a plane from Germany or England from the 1940s in World War II.
Yeah.
So basically, death comes at you very strong. I just want to say thank you to Daniel Harlett for playing such a not a great character, because let's be honest, you weren't given the best. You never truly know how someone is great until they're gone. This is EastEnders. This is not like that show where the guy wanted to leave for Hollywood and then he came back a season later and it was all a dream. You can't do that with EastEnders, because that absolutely rules out a lot of characters and people who come onto the square. I just want to say thank you, Daniel Harlett, for playing a great actress, and I hope the best for you in Hollywood, or whatever you decide to do, whether that's hairdressing, whether that's secret cams, whatever you decide to do. I will try and support you. My co-host will try and support you. We think you're a great actress. I've been Piggy from Watching Walford. I've been resigning from the couch that Billy slept on. I've been joined with Ash, and leave the memories alone. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Watching Walford, and thank you.
I mean, one thing just to clarify, it's Daniel Harrell, not Daniel
Harry. Yeah, sorry. I'm dyslexic. Sorry.
Yes, so there we are. Lovely tribute, and make sure to join us next